Hello, my peeps. I am uh, I am a proponent of banning all pop-ups. ah, the little not the pop-ups where people like make a hot chocolate stand in the winter. Whoa, those are fun pop-ups. The ones on your computer that block what you're trying to do, those are the ones I'm talking about. Let's get rid of those. Hi everyone. It is, and here's another pop-up. Moderation helps everyone feel safe. Okay. We have nice people on stamping channels for the most part. You get the odd bot on there, but the people themselves are good. Okay. Chat is up. Tracey's focused. Let's get this thing going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesdays with Tracey on a Wednesday. We have some added bonuses, though, to postponing a day, other than the fact that I'm available and can actually do this. My pre-order came. Very exciting. Oops, I just hit the, no, what did I do? Oh, there we go. I just hit something with my hand and sent everything askew. So I mentioned in my little teaser yesterday that there's lots of stuff happening. So here's the plan for tonight. Gonna cover this. And I like to write things on my iPad. My iPad and my Apple Pen are like two of my favorite things. I love that Apple Pen and drawing, and I sketch out all my layouts to give to facilities people for how I want table set up, and I sketch out cards and I make lists. Oh, I just love the Apple Pen. Anyways, we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna show you. Should I show you a new one or should? So I've showed you this one before, but you remember the little treat books that came out, right? Oh, there's the paper inside if you're curious how big that box is. I'm going to show you. I made a bunch more of these and had a little event on the weekend where some of you guys made some of those. And it is a bit of trial and error when you first start. Let's just put it that way. And I've learned some things as I went. So I thought I'm going to share with you all these random tips that I came up with while doing it, and just like little bits and pieces in case you didn't know. They're super fun. And part of what I was trying to do was recreate, like I'm going to use them for all sorts of things, but I was also trying to recreate, the old lifesaver books. Okay, well, if you remember, it was going on, it's just about 2 years ago when I first tried, and then again sometime last year, I can't remember when it was last year, where I tried to find lifesavers to put in like little nurses scrub shirts to thank the medical staff. That helped with my dad and then with another friend's family member. And it was so incredibly hard to find lifesavers. Well, it's gotten harder, but I wanted to make like a lifesaver book. So I was able to find some of these. Hello, Marlene. I was able to find some of these like big rolls of lifesavers, but as you can see, they do not fit in the book. So alas, I had to come up with a new plan. So I will show you what I found and what I'm planning, plus some other things. And then I'm going to frustrate you because I'm going to show you one thing that like works right, and I just can't remember where I found it. But first, we're going to get to all the fun stuff that is happening. The first week of the month for the next few months is going to be just like, oh my goodness, what is going on now? There's a lot is what's going on now. So I lost my one sheet. Because so much is happening, and I don't know what I did with that. Oh, there it is right there, just in front of me, where it should be. Because so much is going on, I thought, this is, and some things are changing. So I thought I'm going to give you just like a quick recap of a few things so that we're all on the same page. I am going to, in much shorter form, because, I tend to talk, in much shorter form, I'm going to recap this in the newsletter on Friday. So when this live is done, and I always go over to Facebook and I post like where you can watch the replay for those that I don't know how to communicate as effectively like messaging back and forth and stuff on YouTube. So I always go post on Facebook. I'm just going to post the link to the replay, and I'm going to post a link to my newsletter. And I'm not going to post all the other 50 things that I'm going to tell you about because they will be in my newsletter. And really, newsletter is the best way to stay up with all this stuff. So a lot of stuff is happening next week, and it's all, I think, my humble opinion, it's all for the better. It all is streamlining things and making things easier. And right now things are like all over the place and it's hard to keep track of. There's a lot more product coming out. I think it's coming out more frequently, but in smaller amounts. So you have lots more time to, like, you can get it now or you can get it later. And I'm hoping that will help with some of the supply issues, because if like a bunch of stuff comes out at the beginning and maybe you can't get all the stuff you want, like, you know, the day it comes out, as is the case with most people, myself included, then, you know, you wait a month or two, well, now some of the stuff's out of stock or maybe it's sold out. So I think smaller doses is a good thing. And I think they have a better system of cleaning up and letting you know, okay, we're done with this, we're going to retire it now, so here's your last chance. So lots of good things coming. What it mostly affects is basically everything but paper pumpkin, is what this process that's starting next week. So just in case, because every time I go to an event and we start talking about different products, I get asked the same question almost every single time. Oh, which kit is that? Oh, that's the monthly one. So there's Stampin' Up has 2 kits. And unfortunately, my screen is not big. If you want to be able to see the books when I do them, you don't get to see the whole kits. There's 2 kit programs in Stampin' Up. There's Paper Pumpkin, which is, you should try, Paper Pushers Paper Pumpkin Perks. Yes. This is the monthly subscription kit. You don't know exactly what's in it. We when it first came out, we never knew anything about it. This one is from September. I think I've used most of the Christmas ones. This one is so cute with the snail. So this is a monthly kit. It's usually got cards or some other kind of project in it. We get little teasers, but we don't know exactly what's coming in it. We usually get like enough to say, you know, it'll be 9 cards, or it'll be this many treat holders, or it's a decor project or whatever. We usually know the name and we get some of the information on it, but this is like a good portion of this is a surprise. These ones you can sign up for and subscribe. You can skip them months you don't want to do, and or if you're going to be away or you're getting backed up on kits or whatever. But this is a subscription kit. It's only available in North America right now. The kit collection, which is the newer one that started either in 21 or 22. I don't remember now. So they had sporadically, they would offer out kits, but then they started with an actual program. So once a month, a new kit came out. Starting this year, 2024, 2 kits a month came out. And what's actually happening, I'll give you a sneak peek of what I'm telling you. In 2025, some of the months, and I counted it once, but I forgot. So January, April, August, September, October, there's actually going to be 3 kits come out. And so I think part of it is like a lot of people, they just want card kits. I like the other kits. I like the decor kits and the treat kits and the other fun, the journaling and things like that that come out. So I think that's what they're doing. And I think this is a hint at it, because like this kit that just came out is a book. It's very cool. It's got some pencil crayons, an aqua painter, and this book of watercolor pages. So that's the special paper where you can color in and then use these to make card fronts and projects or whatever, or just have a very therapeutic day coloring in pictures. So instead of it being like 100% here, make 9 cards, you're done, they're coming out with some of these other ones. So I think in some of the months, like I can see that January, the extra kit, well, now you can make a Valentine treat one, but you can still have card ones. And then the people who just want cards are happy. And the people who want treats are happy. So you got 2 now. You got it. And then the extra one, who knows? The same as like in the spring, maybe that's around Easter. Or maybe it's a Mother's Day, Father's Day kind of thing. Maybe there's some special thing for that. And then the ones that come out in August, September, October, Christmas and Halloween. And potentially Thanksgiving, although sometimes they're just kind of more fall, but whatever. We don't know until like right when these come out, but when they do come out, we see the entire kit, right? And then you get to order through the store, like through the online store or through Demonstrator. So these are considered an online exclusive item. And there's new ones that come out every month. So that's the difference in the 2 kits. So when I'm talking about changes and doing all this stuff, I'm talking about everything but the paper pumpkins. So what most people associate with all our products are the catalogs, right? So this is a current mini catalog that is done on the something of December. Nope, 6th of January. On the 6th of January. Okay, so this is the mini catalog that's currently out. Has lots of, it's September to December. So any of the holidays that happen in September to December. And then we just had the online exclusives that came out on the 5th of November, right? So that's this last bunch. And then this is about number 5, I think, on the online exclusive releases. So there's a bunch of stuff that goes online. And all that means is It's not in a paper product, in a paper catalog anywhere, or there's no flyer for it. I just make my own flyers so I can keep track of stuff. It's just in the online stores where you see it. And it gives Stampin' Up! Way more flexibility to, like, if there's something in this catalog that they were originally thought, oh, we'll just retire that one. But it's super popular, so now they want to keep it. Instead of saying, well, it's not in another catalog, I guess we can't. Now they just move it over to the online store. Boom, it still can keep going. Or if they have something that maybe didn't do as well, and so they have lots of it left, they put it in the online store. Boom, you can still sell it. So the online exclusives are part of this, and they were 3 releases a year. Now there's going to be 6 releases a year coming in 2025, because now each time a new catalog comes out, there's also going to be a chunk of online exclusives that come out with it, and some of them coordinate. In the new one, some of them coordinate. So that's a different story. And then there's the scrapbooking. So the scrapbooking is new this year. I mean, they had it a long time ago, got rid of a lot of it except for the 6x8 memory keeping type stuff. So they're going back to the 12x12 line. This was the September brochure, which I just printed off. It's just a digital brochure I printed off. The January one will be the same. Digital brochure. If you want to print it off, you can. By the time the next annual catalog comes out, all of the scrapbooking stuff will be in the catalogs. So there won't be a separate brochure. But for now, that's what it is. So this is part of what we're talking about. And then the big annual catalog, which, as I've said every time I show it, mine has a nice coil binding on it. They do not come that way. I do it that way because I find it easier for the number of times I flip through it. Okay, so these are all what we have. And because I told you I would say hot off the presses, but I was actually expecting this to come tomorrow. Oh no, it's warmed up by now. But hot off the presses is the new mini catalog. See, and I'm allowed to show you because I have physical copies. I can't show you inside, but I can actually show you the brochures. So this is the January catalog that's coming out. So pretty. And fun celebration, which is January and February. This one is January to April. So these are all the catalogs and the stuff we're talking about that's affected by this. But just a sneak peek for this. I'm going to put those over there. Why is the dog so interested in my office? Oh, because the Stampin' Up! Box is here. Okay, so these are all what we're talking about. So I gotta find somewhere to put those. Okay, so I already mentioned, well, I'll mention some more. So next week, the 3rd of December, Tuesday. Where's my calendar? There it is. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. As soon as I said it, I was like, all right, yes, Tuesday. Lots happening. So 2 new kits are going to come up. Just because if you they're good kits. Let's just put it that way. If you listen to various different things and you see things, and some leaders, and some of the leaders in the States will release information that maybe they're not supposed to. So sometimes you see things, but you see American prices, so you have to kind of wait till they actually come out in Canada to know the actual price. I always go on the Monday before our kits come out, because our kits come out on a Tuesday. On Monday, I can go and look at an Australian demonstrator site and see what they are there. Of course, they're in Australian dollars, so I got to figure out what they're going to be. So on Monday, I will have sneak peeks of the 2 new kits coming up. I'm not going to say too much because, I mean, I don't even know for sure what 100% what the information is. I've seen tidbits. They're both going to be awesome, and one of them is going to make a great Christmas present. So I'm going to post a quick, just like a bulletin newsletter type thing, and I will post it on Facebook on Monday. I will post 2 sheets like this. This is what I do when a new kit comes up. It shows you what the end product is, what the components of the kit are. If there's a stamp set, this would actually show what the stamp set was, and then the price and stuff like that. So I'll be able to show you that stuff on Monday. 2 new kits coming out. One's going to make a very good Christmas present, so stay tuned for that. Also on Monday, oops, that's upside down, Stampin' Up! Is releasing. It's a special release. Just a minute, my thing is actually, there we go, of some colors. So they did this once before, and the last time they did it, only demonstrators could earn it, and it was super popular. But they're taking some old patterns they had from DSP and rerunning them with new colors. So it's kind of fun because the first one was the countryside something, and it came out in shades of blue. Then when they did this special demo release, it was shades of pink. So these ones, there's Refresh Beauty, which when it originally came out was a fall one, and it was like Blackberry Bliss and Wild Wheat and Gold, and it was such rich paper. Well, they've brightened it up this time. Serene Love was a black and white paper. I honestly can't remember like what that went with or when that was. This one I remember. This one I don't. But now it's in different colors, in like shades of blue and green. And then this other one, when it first came out, I think it was an in color. It was very deep, bold colors. And now it's more pastel colors. So there's 3 new packs of paper that are coming out. They come out on the 3rd. I will post this link so you can see better pictures in my, and actually Stampin' Up has in their pictures that they showed us, they have like what it was the first time it came out and second. So if you want to compare, if you're trying to remember what paper it is, I might be able to post those pictures. But if not, I will post this information. But it's a new set of paper coming out. DSP always goes fast. Designer series paper, it always goes fast. So if you're interested in that, be ready to have a good look and let me know what you're doing on the 3rd. I will tell you what order's coming up here in a bit. But that's also happening on the 3rd. And then the big thing that's happening is last chance products. So normally what has happened before is when a catalog's about, and there's different things. When I first started, like 13 years ago, when a catalog was getting ready to end, they would send out a retirement list. And it would say in the catalog, I wish I had an old one to show you because I write, oh boy, do I write all over them. Okay, we're going to use this for example. So right now, the orange just means it's what I own. Actually, I'll show you a better sweet that I'll show you my, see if you can tell my favorite sweet in the book, just a sec here. There we go. I own it all. Many of each. Okay, so this is the reindeer days. Okay, and actually this is probably a good example. So at the end of this catalog period before, they would say, okay, so on this page, we're going to keep these two, the bundle, the snap set and the dies, but the designer paper is retiring. These peppermints, oh my God, these peppermints are so popular. That's going to go, this, right? And they would give us a list of what is going to carry forward to the next catalog and what's going to retire. More recent years, they started calling it the last chance products or the last chance list. And it was the same thing. It was like, they would actually send us physical, not the greatest, a PDF and an Excel, but lists of, here's the products, because I could go page by page through my catalog and I would always write what was retiring and what wasn't. What's staying and going. So you could like get a list, but it was the same thing. And then when the catalog ended, like this catalog ends on the 6th of January. So usually for the month of December, now some stuff would be on sale, some stuff wouldn't. And it was just while supplies lasted, away people went. And then when that, like on the 6th of January, at midnight, they stopped selling. Now, potentially, depending what was left, maybe the following fall or the next spring or who knows, some of that information or products would come back on the clearance rack, right? Which was just the online store where the clearance stuff was. And we would get maybe a day or two's notice that, hey, we're about to update, sometimes the day of, hey, we're about to update the clearance rack, and new stuff would show up. Sometimes it was up to like 60% off, or I think sometimes there was even more than that, but it was always a discount when it was on there. Anywhere from 10 to probably 60% was the norm. And then once it sold out of there, and those things went fast. Like those things would change at midnight. And by the time you looked in the morning, a bunch of stuff was already sold out. And depending what it was, like that stuff always sold out so quickly. So what they're doing now is they're doing last chance products. And they're basically combining the two things. But instead of it just relating to just this catalog, it relates to any of the online products. So as I said, everything but the paper pumpkin. So on the 3rd of December, they're going to post a new list. Now, I know it's happening on the 3rd of December, but I have no idea what is going to be on this. And there's not actually a physical list. I said list, but I don't mean that. They're going to update. There's going to be a new section in the online store called Last Chance Products. The section that says clearance rack will be gone, right? Now, what from the the stuff that's on the clearance rack right now, I imagine some of it will stay in this Last Chance Products, but there's no guarantee that all of it will. And then whatever they've decided is either low enough inventory or it's been around long enough or nobody's bought it in forever or whatever they use to decide will go into the last chance products, right? So I'm not going to be able to say, here's a list of what's going there because it's going to be an evolving thing. What I'm going to be able to do, there's a whole bunch of them. Stampin' Up made a whole bunch of sheets. And I just want to show you this one so if you see it. There's this one with the trees. There's one with mountains. There was one with waves. I think there's one with flowers. So you might see a whole bunch of demonstrators posting, or you might see this all over like Stampin' Up's social media about last chance products. I like to have my own stuff because I think sometimes it gets lost. Like you scan past things because you see so many of them. So when it was the clearance rack, this was the graphic I always used. And so I'm going to use the same graphic, but I've updated it to say last chance products. New items will be added on the 3rd of December. And actually, I'm just gonna, I'll figure out some better English, and some items will be gone. So what's going to happen every time they update the last chance products section on the website, they're supposed to be telling, at least us as demonstrators, I think we will know, heads up a day or two, a week, whatever, ahead of time that it's going to happen. We know that it's going to happen every second month on the even numbers, right? So December, February, April, June, August, October, right? So every 2 months, they're going to update stuff. So what they're going to do is they're going to pull some stuff off that's been sitting there forever that they sold out of. They're going to add new stuff to it. Now, the new stuff that goes on, some of it will have a discount, some of it won't. But once it hits last chance products, that's it. Once it's gone from there, it's gone. There is no more clearance rack. There is no more second chance. So if you see something in the last chance products in that section, you want to get it while you can. Now, the caveat there is, so in December, they're going to put a whole bunch of stuff on there, right? If they have a huge amount of item X, in February when they go to update, or maybe April when they go to update, they might still have a huge amount of product X. So when they first put it on, they might put it on and say it's 10% off. But by the time April rolls around, they might go, you know what, let's move this stuff. And they might all of a sudden change it. Now it's 60% off. So, or something that wasn't on sale to begin with, the next time they update or 3 times later or whatever, they could now put it on sale. So if you want to gamble and wait, yes, maybe it goes on sale. Maybe it goes on sale for more. Maybe it sells out. It's one of those things. But I just want to make it so everybody understands it. Once it hits last chance, it is literally your last chance. Because when it sells out from there, it's gone. It's not coming back again in some other form like it used to with the clearance rack. This is it. Okay. There's no more clearance rack. There's no more retirement list. There's just last chance products. So every time I know it's going to come out, or that it's going to be updated, like what the actual date is, because it will go at midnight. So if you want, you can look at midnight. I'm usually up. Usually this ties into something else, and I like to make my order at midnight because I like to get at the front of the line for shipping. That's honestly what it is. And if it's something I think is going to sell out, I want to be able to get all of your orders in before it sells out. So whenever I can, I'm going to send this out. There will be no list like the one I made for the online exclusives. This is going to be too big of a thing, and it's going to change too much to make a list. I'm basically just going to tell you, hey, they're doing another refresh. This stuff's things are being added and taken away. So this is usually going to probably happen on a Tuesday morning. Lots of things happen on a Tuesday. Well, I do my live on Tuesday night. So as soon as it goes, even if I'm not looking for anything, I always go and look and see what's on there, because sometimes there are some smoking good deals. And I do hoard things. Like some of my favorite products, I will hoard because I use them for personal use. And so I'll order a couple extra packages. I have, oh, look at that. Nope, that's not them. They're there. I have some of these red hearts that are probably from 3 or 4 years ago. And I think I still have 3 more full packages, plus this one that's like in use. I absolutely loved these hearts. And when they went on the clearance rack, I bought like 4 packages of them. So I'm always looking, right? And I put them on everything. You know what they work really well on? These tiny little gingerbread houses. I made little treat holders out of the gingerbread houses. Those hearts are the perfect size to cover the little white heart that was on the door, to make like a little 3D heart. Throw a couple candies in there. Anyways, I digress. So I'm always going to look at this. So if I look at this and all of a sudden see, wow, these are like dies are on for 50% off. Because in the other process, when the list would come out, I would go page by page through my catalog. I would write in it what's staying, what's retiring, and if there's what the sale price is, so that I could point out like really good deals to you. Or if I know somebody is like, well, I want to wait for that, but I'll see if it goes on sale. If I see it go on sale for like 50 or 60%, I will tell you right away, because I know that it will sell out quickly, because at that price, people are going to scoop it up, right? So I will give you like some running commentary on those things, but other than being forewarned it's coming, there's no other physical like flyer, pamphlet, anything like that. I'm just going to direct you to the place and tell you what the deals are. Okay, so that's one of the the big things they're doing. And really, it just cleans up a bunch of processes. Now, from what I understand on this one that like happens next Tuesday, it could be anything from the annual catalog, the online exclusives, I guess the scrapbooking line, the kits line, or the mini catalog that could end up in this last chance product section on Tuesday. It could have a discount, it could not. I don't know until it actually happens. So if there's stuff you want, like I always have a list of things I need to get. And sometimes if there's a sale, all of a sudden, like I needed cardstock, so I had a running list of cardstock. So when they announced the cardstock sale, boom, I ordered all the cardstock I needed when it was on sale because I knew it was coming. But I had my list. So I suggest make a list and then we'll see what happens on Tuesday. The exception to this whole process, right? So a new catalog gets released. So like the two new ones that are coming out for January, those ones are going to come out. And so celebration stuff doesn't generally end up on these lists, but it has on occasion. So celebration is January, February. So maybe in April, boom, some celebration stuff shows up there. I don't know. The mini catalog is January to April. So when the mini catalog is like for the month of April, when they do their April thing, maybe they move some stuff from the catalog to there, right? Like that's the system. So new catalogs come out, they have a big launch or online exclusives. And then when as it's getting close to the end of when their expected sales period is, then every 2 months they're doing a list. You can expect that the majority of catalog stuff ends up in the last chance list towards the end of its sales, right? So the exception to that would be if something sells out early, if they all of a sudden have some shipping issue or a production issue, like they can't get a product and they ran out, and then it might end up just being like you saw it in a catalog and now you can't find it anywhere and it's gone. Right? That could happen. Demonstrators are going to get lists of discontinued products. So when something leaves the last chance and it's gone forever, it will be added to like a discontinued product list. That's not a list that's going to show up in the online store anywhere else. Demonstrators will be able to access it through a demo website. So really, if you were curious, you couldn't find something, you weren't sure, you could always ask your demonstrator. I would be happy to check for you because it would have gone, like it'll show up on that list. Like I said, I think this process is going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. So because all this stuff is happening on the 3rd, I will be up at midnight making my order on the 3rd. So if you see when I posted the 2 new kits, when I posted pictures of those on Monday, if you want either of those kits and you want me to get them right away, let me know because I can order them at midnight on Tuesday. If not, I will be doing a group order on the 4th of December at like 6 o'clock. I'll give everybody like Tuesday, Wednesday. If there is stuff that is a wicked good deal or you have a bigger order, let me know right away. I'll place your orders as soon as you want, like as soon as you go. The idea behind the group order is if you have little smaller amounts of stuff and you don't want to pay the full $10.95 shipping yourself, then you group all the little orders together and we split the $10.95 shipping between everybody so you pay less shipping. But at any point, I'm happy to take the bigger orders and put them in for you, and I will put them in right away because, like I said, as stuff goes on sale and gets towards the end, it is while supplies last. Plus, I want to be at the front of the shipping line because with the postal strike, Christmas shipping in full swing, and all of those people that are doing that are now compensating for the 2 things that are going on. Everything's going to be super busy. Stampin' Up! Has said the 11th of December is the latest a Canadian order can go in with the expectation that you will have it by Christmas. I don't like to push my luck. I'm making the last big group order on the 4th of December. I will take your orders before and after that, whatever you want. But I'm putting in an order on the midnight on the 3rd and then 6 o'clock on the 4th. So if you want to get in on either of those 2 orders or you want to get your order into me like a separate order in, let me know because I will be making sure we have our best chance to not miss anything. Now, I spent this out, I think, in the last 2 newsletters, and I think I posted it on Facebook too. If you have a wish list, and I have this, and I usually give it out with the catalogs as well, where there's stuff you want, like you want Stampin' Up! Stuff for Christmas, and you want to put it on your wish list, you can fill out this little form, or even just say to whoever it is that's buying you stuff, husband, wife, son, daughter, friend, fairy godmother, whatever it is, this is what I want. Here's Tracey's contact information. They can get a hold of me, and that's on this sheet here. That's what the bottom is. It says, hey, giver, you got a wish list? Give me a call and we'll figure it out. So this is all the stuff on the bottom, right? Anything you want. And if you don't know what you want, there's a couple questions on the top of this that just kind of give me an idea so I can help people out. Because to a certain point, talking Stampin' Up is not, it's just, for some people it's not the most common terms and stuff. And I don't always call everything by its right name either. But so if, for example, maybe you want one of these, right? So with the old one, when it just had one function, but a lot of people just called these pokey tools because they had like the poker, the old ones were called a Stampin' Up Pierce tool, I think is what they were officially called. Well, these are called the Take Your Pick tool. But when they first came out, we were laughing and joking about it and called it the Pick Your Nose tool. And so sometimes, yes, I do call it that, even though that is so not what it's called. And nor would I advise it, because look at how sharp that guy is. But anyways, so maybe this is what you want and you can't remember what it is. But if you tell me or you tell him it's that thing and it's got like putty on one end and you use it to pick stuff up, I know what this is. So that's why if they want to contact me, I will help them. But again, 4th of December, after that, I will still order. I just can't guarantee you'll have it for Christmas. If you order like anything like this, or if you just want to get a gift certificate, and I should have brought the little, anything that gets ordered will be given to the giver, all wrapped and ready to go. Right? If you get a gift certificate, it comes in a nice little fancy folder so that it's not just here's a piece of paper. So you can let the giver know that I will do that for them, and I will drop it off or arrange a place to meet up or whatever, because Lord knows we aren't mailing anything these days. And we will get you squared away for Christmas. So yeah, give him my contact information. If you want a copy of the little list that goes with this, it'll be in the newsletter on Friday. And then, yeah, the last new thing that's coming out, I guess, is, like I said, I got my catalogs. I'm in celebration. I will tell you more about this, and I will show you some of the pre-order stuff that I got from both. Because the best thing about being a demonstrator is you get to order early. So I got to order from this catalog and from the online exclusives that come with it. And oh my goodness, there's some cute stuff in there. And I got to earn my celebration stuff like you guys will earn in January, February. I got to earn mine with my pre-order. So I will tell you next week when we do this. I think it'll be next week. I'll do the pre-order thing. I'll tell you what the join offer is and what the extra hosting offer is and stuff. Because celebration is a great time to join Stampin' Up because you get extra stuff. And spoiler alert, best time to get the big cut and emboss machine, because they're up in the amount of what you get in the kit, so you can order it. Okay, so I'm going to post this as well in the newsletter, and there actually will be a link there. But if you don't have a demonstrator, if you have a demonstrator right now, they will give you a catalog or ask them for a catalog. But if you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. I will happily get you catalogs. If you have been to any of my classes or ordered from me or anything in the last like 6 or 8 months, you've already got and you've been getting catalogs from me on a regular basis, you will get these as well. And my plan is just to mid-December, like the first and second weekend of December, when I have other errands that are taking me all over the city. And by city, I don't mean Moreville, but into like St. Albert and into Edmonton, into my chiropractor that is, an hour south of my house. I will drop stuff off as I go on those days. So I will get those catalogs and stuff out to everybody. And usually when I drop stuff on people's porch, I've now learned I should send a text saying, hey, it's on your porch, because most people go into their houses through their garage and maybe wouldn't notice I'm on their porch. The other thing, look at this. Oh, I was trying to get this in a half an hour. The other thing, so I did all this. We're down here. The next thing is I will be doing my January classes. January classes, my monthly classes starting again in January. So January is going to have like a love theme. So you can make it Valentine's, wedding, anniversary, just some give things to people that you love. So that's that class. February is going to be a birthday class. And March is going to be like spring Easter themed. And each month I have a class at the Cultural Center in Moreville here that's in person. That's for the more, well, anybody's welcome to come, but the projects are usually a little more advanced. So I will help you through it. Anybody is welcome to come, but that's generally the more experienced crafters. I'm going to do a monthly Saturday morning class at Nourish. And those those aren't necessarily just for beginners, although it's kind of designed for beginners. But the idea is they're much easier, right? And a little bit quicker to put together. So if you want just a nice morning out, or if you're new to crafting and you want me to help you walk you through it and get you started, then those are the classes we do. And I had decided that for all my classes that I was going to offer to-go options, which could either be porch pickup or I would mail them. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Demonstrated you only earn celebration items on the new mini catalog. Any order you make during the pre-order period that adds up. So for every 75 or every 150 of whatever you order, demonstrators earn the celebration stuff. But yeah, you can order the mini stuff. But even so, like next week when this stuff goes on sale, Marlene, sorry, I'm answering your question. I guess I should have, for anybody who's wondering what is she all of a sudden talking about? So next week when the new list is released, you can order stuff from the pre-order, you can order stuff that's retiring, you can order all of that stuff added up together for every 75 or 150, depending what it is you want, you get to get the celebration stuff. So yes, I will have catalogs and dates or not catalogs, calendars and dates set up here probably next week. I'm just waiting on one other thing to sort of sort itself out, and then I'll know what dates I'm doing these. And yeah, we'll figure out the to-go option once I know what's happening with the mail strike. Okay, let's talk about books. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of the, I'll quickly show you some of the samples. So, actually, excuse me, first I'm going to have a drink of water. Okay, so there's lots of ways you can do this. This one shows you like a full piece of DSP that wraps this. And then I just put some, because you know me, I'm a die cuts. I put some die cuts on it. And yes, this was a Thanksgiving one. What I will not recommend is trying to color the entire book in DS with your blends. And I tried to color on the inside, but the inside is like shiny food grade. And so it didn't stick. And then when I tried to wipe it off, it didn't stick, but it did stain. So it was okay to color just this little tab, wasn't too bad, but this was like, I don't know, 7 coats because I was trying to make it this dark cherry cobbler. I got a very cool effect, but it took forever. And because I had to color so much, it kind of warped my book a little bit. But so that one was colored. And you'll notice this tab is like tucked under the deer, right? That's one of the closing methods. We have this one here where it's got like little partial ones. This is another one. I did this one mostly because I was doing all these other books and I wanted to prove that I could make a book without a reindeer on it. And then I did try with cardstock. That didn't go as well as I hoped. So when I was making all of these different things, like I said, I came up with a whole bunch of different like tidbits, ways to close them, ways to do things. So I will pull those back as needed for examples. But the one thing I did want to show you is you can stamp on these. I didn't stamp on any of those. I was busy covering them with other stuff. There we go. Let's see what happened to my other little piece. But you can stamp on them. The outside, like so the inside is the part that has adhesive on it. And you can see if I can show it to you. I can't get it to show. There's 2 strips of adhesive here, which I can get to be shiny, but the inside of this is kind of got like a shiny, waxy coat. Oh, you're welcome, Marley. So this is the inside. This is the one you don't want to stamp on or try to run it because it's not going to work very well. But the outside is more of a matte finish. And so this one you can easily stamp on. Now, all of my books, I like my books to look like books, right? So I made them look like pages, and I'll show you how I did that in a minute. But this one I wanted to show you, you can stamp right on it. Like, it's no big deal. The one thing you need to do, though, is you need to realize when this box goes together, and this is how they go together, right? If you pre-fold all the stuff, the sides come up, and they fold in like this. Right? Super easy to do. But you want to make sure that when you do it, and I pick trees because trees are like arrows, right? They point up. You want to make sure your trees are all going the right direction, right? So the easiest way to do that my next demo piece is just went flying on the floor or off the desk. So this is the piece, right? So the ones that are the trickiest are these 2 to figure out which way you're going. The sides are easy. The sides bend in like this, right? This goes inside the box, and this is the side that you see. So if you start here, Here, I'll do another one with my little trees on it because they're cute. If you start on this side, the first box I did, I thought I was only going to fit 3, so I started in the middle, but it turns out I can fit 4 of these trees. So if I start on this one, because I know this side is up, because I know how the box folds, and you just turn and go, then you will make sure that you're in the right direction. Because if you try to do like different sides or start on a different one, I almost stamped one side the right way and one side the wrong way. Now, it is not the end of the world if you stamp them the wrong way. If I stamped my trees upside down, I would put it on the top of the box, because when you look at the box and when you open the box, you don't really see the top. So that's where I'd put it. But this is the easiest way to remember how to stamp them, is just pick a side and start, and then just keep turning. And then all of your things are in the right spot. And when you fold them up, there we go. Ta-da! You fold them up, your box is like this, and all your trees are going in the right direction. Okay. And yes, you can stamp on the front just as easily. Oh, put that off to the side. That off. Now this, I would never, because it's dark and because I did it so quickly, but this is dry. It's not smudging. I wouldn't do that with one that I just stamped, just because I just stamped it. Okay, so there is, I'm going to do this because I need to, I need this put together to show you the next thing I'm going to tell you. This is the Tracey learned it the hard way section of the display of the demo. So that's it. When you peel those 2 pieces off and fold them over, you have a box. Now, what I will tell you, I think it's this one, is my box keeps spinning, is it's really cute to put something on the inside. And I thought of this after the fact. So I cut a piece of paper and I stuck it in the box once the box was all like assembled and glued to the base. So you can do it, but I can tell you, where'd my other one go? There we go. It's a lot easier if, so this is the outside part, right? This is the inside, the shiny part. So if you know you want to put something on the inside, it is a lot easier to put it in when your box is flat like this, because it's way easier to like center it and get it stuck in than it is to wait till it's assembled. Okay, so there's tip number 1. But you can do it. It's just mine's not perfectly centered like I would like, because I did it after the fact. So the box is done. Now, whether you want to decorate this like while it's all flat and then put it together, or put it together and then decorate it, I don't actually know if one is easier than the other. The tip I'm going to show you about the paper only works if the box is put together. So my personal thought is I would rather put it together, and then, because even once it's together, like you can still sort of lay it flat, right? Or you can at least move it enough to put it together. So I would like to put them together and then put the decorations on. The other thing you want to make sure that when you're doing that, regardless of which way you do it, is for some reason I kept wanting this to be like on the wrong side. But whenever you're putting it on, you have to remember that this tab needs to be on the right. This is where the box is going to stick in, and this tab comes over like this. So when you flip it over to put your paper on, or if you're doing any kind of a design, if you flip it over like this and this is on the right, your box is upside down now. Because if you, I'm going to put something on this. So where's my pencil? Okay. So if I put my paper on and I put it going in this direction, right? So it would be like this direction. And then I take it and I put my box on. You will now see that my paper is upside down. Right? So you have to pay attention to that, because, which is why I think it's easier to do it like the way I'm going to show you, is because then you don't accidentally put it on. Knowing that you have to keep this on the right side. Like, and I literally mean that as in your right hand, right, but also the correct side when you put it together. But if you flip it over, you've all of a sudden now you're going to make your paper wrong. So, right, it gets too confusing. I'll show you in a minute how I think it's easier to do it. Now, where's my box? It's funny. So, nope, it's this box. So when I put this box together, and I don't know if it's as easy to tell, well, you can kind of tell, but so these corners line up pretty nice, but this corner is all crooked. And there is no amount of squishing or folding that is going to fix that. Because when I put this together, I was not paying attention, and I stuck it down, and where I was good on this corner, on this one, I went up onto the fold, like onto where the score line was. So the box got like skewed a little bit. So it is crooked, and it's crooked to the point of making it so that this corner doesn't work properly. And I can't fix it unless I want to pull this box off. But this is good adhesive. These two strips of adhesive, they're pretty good adhesive. So I don't want to risk destroying the box to get it off. So I'm just living with it. So what I'm going to tell you is, and if you've stamped like words or something on this, which you could have like, have a merry little Christmas. I don't know. You could probably stamp somehow on here. Make sure when you put your box on, you're putting it on like the right way. Or if you put something on the inside here, make sure it's going the right way up. But so peel your two little pieces off. You have about a 1/4 inch on 3 sides is what you're going to end up with to make it nice and even. So when I'm doing this, I'm making sure that this end of the box is just off the score line. Now you could probably shimmy it over a little bit, like, so you don't have to be too, but whatever you do, don't go up on the score line. So this is more critical. And then as I'm getting ready to like pop it down, I'm watching at the top and at the bottom to make sure that I have about the same amount of clearance. Because like I said, it's about a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to be just inside the score line. And then I'm just going to look around and pop it down. So now when I go to close this box, oh, I did it again. I forgot to tell you the critical part. I'd already done it, but I'm going to tell you now before you do yours. So now when you do it, now when the box opens and closes, this is not in the way of the opening and closing. The other thing that I was doing this because I was playing with it earlier, but that I forgot to tell you is before you attach, whether you put paper on it or not, before you attach the cover to the box, you need to make sure that you give this, like, give the crease lines a really good fold. And I would say as much as going both ways. You got to be careful on the back. Mine's cracking a little bit, but you can't actually see the cracks, but it's making the cracking noise. But go back and fold, and especially this seam right here. Make sure that you have folded it in as much as you can, fold it flat, and like work this little seam a little bit. I didn't do that on the one box, and unfortunately it was the box that I put the cardstock on, and cardstock is very stiff. So you can see that this box in no way does this line up to this, because this fold is not sharp enough. And as soon as it hits, like now that this is glued on, as soon as it hits here, I can't fold it any farther. And its natural instinct, because it's stored like this, is to try to flatten itself back out again. So give it a good bit of working in before you attach it to the box, because it will just make your life easier. Okay, so here's again, don't do what Tracey did. See this really cute paper? I love these reindeer. I absolutely love them. I decided this is what I was going to put on my box. Now, to cover this box, the actual cover itself is 7 inches long by 4 inches tall. Do you see the problem? I took out my piece of DSP and I cut a 4-inch strip off it, and I turned it sideways, and I cut, and I will tell you that I cut like 7 1/16. I made it a little bit bigger, and I'll show you why. Pay attention to the direction of the pattern, because as you can see, unless I want my box to be sideways reindeer, I cut my paper the wrong way. And I was just, because I was like, oh, and I'm like whipping along, getting stuff ready. So lucky for me, TSP is double-sided, and the back side is not directional, so I can use it. But yeah, pay attention to the direction. So somewhere on my desk, here we go. The other thing that I'm going to tease you with is I still have one of the old quarter rounders. There was a black version of this before, like the punch itself was one of the old black whale tail ones. Then there was this one, and then there was one of the triple, I can't remember what they're called now, where it's like this is the newest one, right? So there's this one, but this one doesn't have a quarter rounder. But the one that came out before this, it's like one of these 3-punch things. It had a corner rounder on it. Hey. Dog's licking. Not supposed to be. That's what I'm yelling at. But anyways, I kept the old one. So if you have one of these, it's good. If not, you can always stick your paper on and then just use like your snips and just kind of look at the backside and trim it. But if you're lucky enough that you have a corner rounder, I would say round the corners on these two on the front, and on the back, because then it will just fit a little nicer. Okay, so again, my experience, I'm just going to do this in the interest of time. My experience is with the book is it's better to do one side at a time and not glue them all at once. Now, if I was doing my normal thing, well, I am doing my normal thing, but I pull, like I usually use tear and tape, and I would pull all the backing off all of the pieces all at once. And I'm still going to do that. I'm just going to do it on two different sides though. If you're not sure, then I would still say though, as far as pressing the paper into the adhesive, do one piece at a time. Don't try to wrap it all at once, because if you're wrong at all, you can't fix it. Like you will rip the paper trying to pull it off once you get it started. So the other thing is, I didn't put adhesive here. I did on the one time, and then I found that it was a little bit tighter and it didn't give you as much fixing power, let's say. So I'm leaving this off. But what I've done is, so I've rounded my corners and I put adhesive on here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm starting on the front. And the reason I'm starting on the front, and the reason my paper is a little bit longer, is because by the time you make it around, you lose a bit in length. You don't seem to lose too much in width. Although I did make my paper, this is what a 16th is, right? I did make it like a 16th wider on purpose, because that way, if you're like the slightest bit off, you still got a chance you're covering it and you're not seeing white come out of it. If you make it exactly 4 inches and you go even the littlest bit off, then you're going to see your book from behind it. So I'd rather do this and just trim it. So this is what I'm going to do. So I put glue on the front part, right? And I've touched it down. And now I'm just going to make this fold, and I'm just going to run my hand around here along this edge. Sorry, I went off the screen there. And I'm going to make my fold there. When I did it with cardstock, and I'll show you in a minute how that went, I actually scored the corners, because cardstock's a little stiffer and it's not going to work as well. But with the designer series paper, I found that all I had to do was just kind of bend it. So then I'm going to go, and now I'm going to push it up this way, right? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bend it over, and I'm going to crease it as I go. Right? So I'm going to bend this and give it a good crease. And then I'm going to make sure I'm lined up. So you'll notice that because I added the extra 16th of an inch to it, and this one, and it's because of the fold, right? It depends how tight you pull on the fold. And I don't think you want your paper super tight, because then if your paper is super tight, it's going to make your box want to go flat again, which means it's going to pull against the opening. But so it's just a little bit shy of doing it. When I did this with the first one, when I did 7x4, or especially when I did it with the cardstock, if you take the 7x4 and you score it, well, with the cardstock for starters, if you score this is an inch. But if you put score lines an inch apart on your cardstock, it doesn't fit because of the tightness on the corner. This one, I actually had to score this 1 1/8 inches to get it to actually so it would sit in. But you notice how, and I'm using red and white because it's way more obvious. You notice how this one doesn't quite cover the front, and it covers even less of the back. Just a minute, I'm pulling on it. Right? Because I didn't account for the fact that I lose some, like as I wrap, I lose some of it. So I find if you pre-score the lines, then you're kind of committed to where it's going to fold. And if it doesn't go all the way, it doesn't go all the way. So even though this is 4x7, cut 4x7 and a 16th. And if you want to cut 4 and a 16th, then that just makes it work a little better. Right? So you're going to wrap it around. Now, because I got it all on, where'd my snips go? I'm just going to take my snips And I did a good job. I was trying to line up on the top side. And so I did a good job of lining up on the top side. So my excess is pretty much all on one side. But you can see very clearly what you're doing this way. So the same as if you didn't have a corner around her. You can just look at it this way. Go like this. The key to doing this is to make sure that your scissors are perfectly straight up and down. If they're like this, you're going to cut into the paper and you're going to expose the book. And if they're like this, you're not going to cut close enough. So you want to make sure your scissors are perfectly straight up and down. And you're just kind of pushing, like if you push the blade against the cardboard as you go, it'll sort of keep you from bending inward. And then we're just going to, oops. I don't know what that got stuck on, but all right. We're just going to trim off the excess. So now I have the good coverage that I wanted. And that's how I got the paper on. Now, the way these books are designed, oh, wait, before I show you closures. So I did do this, right? So this one I did the right way. I made it longer. And in this case, when I was using cardstock, I actually made it almost a 1/4 inch longer because I put an extra 16th on the in between here. And I did this. The cardstock looks great, but it's very stiff. So you have to be very precise with your cardstock doing this. And it was like hard to get a good fold and get it stuck down and get it over. And it made for a very secure book, but you had to, the cardstock is just way stiffer than the DSP was. And then it occurred to me, what if I embossed it? So if you emboss the cardstock, yes, it does help. And I had previously scored this before I embossed it. There we go. It does help make it a bit more pliable, but oops, that's upside down. You still need to make sure that you are making it a little bit longer because you're going to have an easier time wrapping it. But see, this was my original one where this was it. These two score lines were 1 inch apart and the spine won't even fit. So now because it's scored, I can manipulate it a bit. But then it doesn't end up quite as long on the back. But you could, if you're going to use cardstock, I would suggest maybe doing some embossing. So see this one, you can see how much shorter this is just by cutting it 4x7, especially with the cardstock because it doesn't bend as well. The beauty though, is that we now have these new embossing folders that are, I think they're 8 inches long. They are 8.5. So a 7-inch piece will now fit through some of these bigger embossing folders we have. So you can emboss the outside if you want. Okay, so I'm just going to move some of the stuff out of the way. I was going to show you how I made page marks. That's one of these things. This is why I have props on my desk all the time, because otherwise I will never remember squat. What have I got for time? I got 3 minutes. Okay, so the way these books are designed, I might go a few minutes over, sorry, lots going on, is there's a piece of tape here. So you peel this off, you flip it over, and you stick it down and your book is closed. Now the problem with this, and it worked for certain things, absolutely, I would stick it shut. Because if you don't, like if you're doing them at a craft sale or you don't want them open or you're handing them out to like 50 attendees at something and you want to make sure they stay shut until they get to the recipient, then definitely you want to use the tape. Now, how you dress this up, I thought the one of them I put paper on, but I did. So this one I covered the tab with cardstock. This one I covered, and I could have covered with DSP. This one I colored it with the blends. This one I hid, so you don't even see it. So whatever you do with this, however you want to do it, you can do numerous ways to do it. And you can just close it like this and then decorate your front. Some of your options. So this one, the one that I hid, all I did was put magnets, but I put magnets on the inside. And I used the thinnest magnets I could find. These are just like sheet magnets. These are the offcuts from when I buy a bundle and I put like a magnet sheet inside my case. These are just the strips that I trim off. But by putting one on the inside, then you close it so you don't actually see it. You have to make sure you got a good enough magnet here. I tried Velcro dots and I tried the little metal magnets I have that are a bit thicker. This one you can see there's a bit of a gap. It's not super noticeable. With the Velcro and with the thicker metal magnets, this gap was like this. So I didn't like that. So these magnets work. They're not super strong, but as long as this isn't being like manhandled a bunch, it does stay closed that way. So that one is hidden. This one, This one you can't quite tell as easily, but there is a magnet on the back of this one, and there's a magnet right here. But what I did is before I put this piece of paper on, I got to tell you about this one. I put the magnet down first and the paper over top because you're less likely to pull the magnet off in the closure. This just helps it kind of hold it down. I would not recommend, unless you have stronger magnets, putting like it underneath cardstock because it's not going to stick. But DSP is thin enough that if you put the magnet underneath, this little magnet finds it and sticks. Okay, I'll come back to this box because I forgot something. The other way to do it is to tuck, right? So this one is just tucked underneath just the corner of this. But by the time I was done this one, it was like so soft from trying to color it so many times that I could bend it a bit better. But all this one is done is it's been bent enough and this little end is tucked under this reindeer's popped up on dimensionals. This one, because it was the cardstock and this was a much stiffer one, I did the same thing, right? So this is just tucked into there. So all I did, I'll do it, where'd my other one go? This one. So all I did is once I had the main, like the red cardstock down, before I put this green circle, I went like this and I put a couple dimensionals all around where the tab would go. Peeled off the back, and then I stuck my green circle over top. So then when I went to pull it in and out, it had somewhere to go. And I put them fairly tight around it. And so it closes nice and secure. And then so that's what's underneath there. So this just fits. And sometimes you just got to get it at the right angle. There we go. So this just fits underneath. So then the other decorations just went around it. This one is the only one. This and the deer are popped up. You could put, well, one, you could just cut the tab right off if you wanted to. But you could also put ribbon under, like put it underneath before you put the box on, run it here, or run it underneath like the outside of your paper and have it so you tied them closed and then you could open and close them. So you have lots of options for closing it up. I'm going to show you this in 1 second. Okay, the other thing that I forgot to tell you was this. So like doing a full wrap of DSP works if you have 12-inch DSP, right? Because it's a 4x7 minimum plus a little bit of extra. So if it so happens, and this one is actually a 12x12 sample, but let's pretend if the one that you absolutely love is actually only in the 6x6 size, then it is just as easy. And it also, or if you just like the look of it, I like the look of it with the white trim. You can just cut the 3 pieces. I'll put all the measurements. It'll probably won't be till tomorrow morning, honestly, but I will make a post that shows all the pictures of the boxes and we'll have all the measurements for the different pieces. So these ones are, so this is 3x4. So this is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then in this case, because only these corners are rounded, I just rounded these 2 corners and left this one straight. And on this one, I rounded these 2 corners and left this one straight. And then this is just a 3/4 inch strip running down the spine. So if your paper is not big enough to get a 7-inch piece out of, or you maybe you're just using up scraps, or it's a 6x6 design, then just do little pieces, right? And I think it looked great. And then just, yeah, decorate as you want. I didn't want everything to be covering the tab, but in this case, it covers the tab. And in hindsight, should I have colored this red? Probably. But yeah, however you do it, like some of these decorations are centered. Oops, that's not all the way in, right? And some of them are off to the side covering, or this is off to the side covering. So just kind of make it look purposeful. Okay, last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm gonna go because I've taken enough of time. I'm already over by 3 minutes. Is oh, I was going to show you what was going in. Sorry, I got 2 things to show you. I apologize. But to get this look of the, I'm not going to do the full thing. I'll just show you one side. But so to get this look, all I did was I took my box, and so the shiny side is down. This is like the matte finish side. So these are the wild wheat blends, and I impressed somebody this weekend that I have 2 of them open at once. I used the dark one, I used the thin one, I used the bullet tip on the dark one, so the thin line, and I used the brush tip on the light one. And I just, yes, I have them both open in my hand so that I can go around side to side. Not that I can't draw on my glass mat, but I usually do color with something underneath. So because I want to, I'll do this one to make, because it makes more sense. These two pieces here are what are in the inside of the box, right? Here, I'll show you this one because this is one I screwed up on. Again, I told you I'm going to show you all the ways I screwed up so you don't do the same. So these are the inside of the box, right? Now, is it the end of the world if you go over top and you actually go, oops, and you draw on the inside? No. And if you do, put it on the bottom, because when you look at the box, you don't really see it. But that's what happens. So you want to avoid coloring on these two pieces and like the inside of the box. So what I do is I take the dark one first, and I'm just following the score line, right? Because I don't want to do here. I just want to draw in between. And then all I did was I just freehanded lines. Some of them were closer together. Some of them were farther apart. Some of them were straight. Actually, I don't think any of them were straight. Some of them were straighter than others, and other ones were crookeder than others. Crookeder? More crooked? Not actually sure. More crooked, I think, is the right way to say that. And so all I did was, and this was just because, you know, in books, especially if they've been read a lot, the pages don't sit perfectly flat anyways. And so I did this with Cherry Cobbler on the one book. I used Granny Apple Green on one book. I used Wild Beet a lot because to me that makes it look like the old books that have the gold, I don't even know what it is, gold leafing or something, whatever it is on them. And then I just took the light one that was thicker, and I'm just going really fast now, but until I get to the part where I don't want to go over. And I'm just touching it up. And that to me gave the look of pages. Now, what I will tell you is this is the back that gets glued down. These tabs get tucked in. This is where the other ones are. This is the outside of the book that you're going to color, like these 4 tabs here. These ones are the inside. You don't want coloring on them. So I do one side. I will do one more side because otherwise I can't show you the next point I was going to make. So this one is fine. I'm just going to color here again. There's no line there to do. And on this one, I'm just kind of going back and onto these tabs because you're not going to see them anyways. I left a rather large gap there, didn't I? I'm going faster, but you know what? It's still going to look good in the end, so it doesn't even matter. Oh, that one was almost a straight line. So the one thing I did notice, though, when you do this, when you fold, put that one down for now. Yeah, some of them you don't have to be as careful with because these ones you don't see any of. There we go. So when you fold these now, and I tend to, on the, like when I was doing these pages, I tend to color first and then fold because I find that it's flatter and it's easier to color. Okay, so now I've done this, right? So I like pretend I colored all 4, but the point is when you fold these together and you put them in, if you notice anywhere, because sometimes depending how it folds or if it cracks a bit more, you might notice there's like little white spots or something on there. It's good enough to just take your light and just kind of dab it. Don't draw too thick of a line because it'll show a little more, but just kind of go along and dab over top of anywhere that kind of showing white. And you do that on all 4 sides, and then you have what looks like pages. And I did all 4 sides. Somebody asked me if you needed to do this side. You don't, when you open the book, you don't really see that side. I do it anyways. If you really wanted to, or if you screwed up on one side or you wanted to hide, I don't know. You could, I guess, stick that, like put another adhesive in there and stick it to there so it only opens like this. I kind of find it easier that the book opens more. Okay, last thing I'm going to show you. Sorry, this time I really mean the last thing. Was, remember I told you I was trying to do a lifesaver book, right? So these are very hard to find and they're too long. But what I did find, and I have looked all over the place. Walmart used to have huge bags and like 3 different size bags of individually wrapped lifesavers. When I tried to buy them there, almost all their lifesavers were out of stock. Couldn't find any. You can get them on Amazon. They're a little more pricey. What I ended up doing was at the bulk barn is they have one that was, they used to have bags that came out at Christmas time that were like smaller bags, and they had red, white, and green lifesavers in them, but they were kind of Christmas flavors. Like one was well, I think it was a spearmint one, there was a peppermint one, and there was a maybe it's cherry or cranberry. So they had like changed the flavors a little bit. I couldn't find those anywhere, but I was quite happy to find the original like 4-color Lifesaver ones. You have to be careful. Oh, it is 5 flavor on here. Okay. I didn't look close enough. I was gonna say, you have to be careful though. I just wanted 4 because I was actually thinking there was only 4 of them. In this mix, there is pineapple ones as well. I picked around the pineapple ones because I didn't think pineapple were the standard flavor, but looking at it now, I can see cherry, pineapple, orange, lime, and lemon. And you can tell the difference. One's clear, one's more cloudy. But I realized I made a mistake now. Anyways, what I did was I bought just a bunch of these ones. And I figure it is not exactly the same, but somebody who's my age or older, or I don't know, maybe a little bit younger, will remember getting Lifesaver books every year at Christmas. And even though it's a nicer book and it's slightly different Lifesavers, but yes, it's kind of cool to get a Lifesaver book. So in case you were wondering, what else fits inside one of these? A gift certificate easily fits inside of one of these. The little airplane cookies, the little Biscoff cookies. I think a lot of people are familiar with this size cookie, so those fit in there. Tea bags. So these are the Earl Grey tea bags. These ones are slightly wider, but I noticed that with certain things. So sometimes you just, depending which way they're going in, you just give them a little fold or something so they lay flat. You can make anything fit. I haven't been able to find these for a while. Used to be able to get like the long sticks, the Via instant coffee sticks at Costco, but they didn't have them the last time. But those ones, because they're longer, they're a bit of a pain in the butt. I'll be honest with you. I've been looking for these for years because I don't drink coffee very often, but I found these years ago for my brother. So when he came over, I'm a teetotaler. I always have a kettle going that I could use them. So these are actually coffee bags. Like inside of it is a bag like a tea bag, but it's full of coffee. So the actual instructions are to put the bag and the coffee in cold water and heat it up in the microwave. I don't know. That seems weird to me, but all I did was put it and made it like tea, like put it in the bag, poured hot water on it, let it steep as long as they wanted. But these are super handy. These are a much bigger bag than the tea bags come in, but you can easily fold one of those and pop that into. Little baby candy canes. Now, I'm not saying I would put all of this in a bag. I'm just showing you can put a lot of stuff in here, and there's lots of different size things that fit. And so I have sort of a tease/favor to ask. Somewhere in my travels in the last couple months, and I don't go many places, this is what's frustrating about it, I came across baby Mentos. And I only bought 4 of them. This is the 4 flavors they had, because I thought, hey, maybe these will work. Because I was trying to do my nurse's treats. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent, but I'm going to show you anyways. So these are my nurse's treats, right? Or medical professionals. They weren't all nurses. Some of them were doctors. And when I finally found the Lifesavers are so much longer than the shirt. I thought Lifesaver rolls were shorter, or I wanted to find shorter candy. So of course, at the time I'm making these, I couldn't find them. But now I found these, and look, they go like right inside. So I think I would have to adjust it so you could get 2 of them in, like adjust the way the box is slightly, but they're nice and short. So when I saw these, I was all excited. And I'm like, oh, maybe those will fit in the books. And look, they fit nicely. Like this is 4. I probably could get 5 rolls in here. But here's the problem. Cannot for the life of me remember where I bought these. I was going for something other than like treats. Like I wasn't purposely going, hey, I need to buy treats for my treat things. I was buying something else, and near the till, they had a box of these. And I was like, oh, those will be perfect. But it wasn't the store I went for treats. And so for the life of me, I cannot remember. So if anybody sees these around, let me know where you got them, okay? But anyways, you can find all sorts of little things. A full roll of Mentos would not fit here. One of the other treat boxes I'm making, and the decoration has, this is an undecorated one, but has like snowflakes on it and a tag that says "'Tis the season," because I find myself hysterical. I don't know if other people think I'm funny, but I think I'm just hilarious, right? So they say "'Tis the season," and then when you open them up, yeah, "'Tis the season to need hand cream, chapstick, and Kleenex." So I had to. These are our. I can't remember what these tags are called. There's usually a scallop on this. I cut it off. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to put all of these items in the book originally, So these are the like little dollar store Kleenex. Those will fit. I can't fit all 3 things in here. That's my story. I can fit 2 things, but I couldn't fit all 3. So if you are trying to, mind you, this is cute, right? Like just like a little chapstick and a Kleenex. Those will fit in here. And then I just bought these. I didn't actually even try them yet because these are the ones I like better from the Dollarama. These are the Aquafina ones. Oh, and they do fit too. So I couldn't get all 3 to fit, but you can get a couple other little, like, here you go. Here's a nice little emergency Kleenex and chapstick kit for you. Or I guess if you left the Kleenex out. I don't like to mix food and goodies, but you could always do that. And I don't know, candy canes are sealed up. Put a little candy cane in, right? So many options for what can go inside these boxes. There you go. I'm going to stop rambling on now. I've had my fun. I will take, like I said, I will take pictures and I will post the measurements of the boxes and stuff tomorrow. I will post tonight the link to the replay and the link to subscribe. I will actually put something on this one before I'm done because then it'll look better. The link to subscribe to my newsletter, because the summary of all of this stuff, upcoming calendars, if you want notification of what the kits are, like the day before they go live in Canada, any of that stuff, newsletter. That's the place to look. Oh my goodness, I went a whole 15 minutes over. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being patient enough to wait till night 2. Thanks, Marlene, for joining me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Watch for some updates. And let me know if there's anything I can help you with all the fun and frivolity that's happening next week. Okay?